into the topic of kinetics, right? And specifically, when we start kinetics, we normally start out with something called the collision theory, okay? Now, the collision theory is very, very simple to understand, but it's very, very important, right? Because it's going to be the foundation for a lot of the different concepts as we move along in the topic of kinetics. So let's look at the collision theory. Now, let's say, right, you're playing football or you're playing golf, okay? We know some type of contact has to be made. In football, normally there's contact between, two different players on opposing sides and to tackle. And in golf, you have to hit the golf ball. Let's say you're playing miniature golf or something, or you're playing pool, okay? You have to hit the ball in a certain way. Now, the collision theory simply says, I'm using those sports as an analogy, that you must, right, if you want a successful reaction, right, you need a couple of factors, a couple of things. So, let's look at it. We have this molecule, right? Okay. We have another one. Now, in order for them to have a successful collision, these are two reactants, folks, all right? Now, in order for them to make a product successfully, all right, let's say we want this as a product, all right? Okay, bam. Let's say we're looking for that as a product. We need two things, guys. We need the correct or proper angle, okay? The correct or proper angle, all right? Sometimes they say the correct position. Sometimes they say the correct orientation, all right? So they all mean the same thing, all right? So once again, let's say you have these molecules and you want them to react properly. You need the correct angle, position, or orientation. And also importantly, as important or even more importantly, okay, you need the right amount of energy. Okay, all right. So, correct, proper angle, position, orientation, and the right amount of energy are needed for a successful reaction. Okay. Now, together, if you have these factors, these two things, right? Okay, that's called an effective collision. Okay, all right, an effective collision. So once again, what's an effective collision? One that simply has the right proper angle, okay, and the right amount of energy. You also need, folks, okay, you also need what? In terms of collision theory, you also need the frequency, a high or decent frequency of collisions, okay? So, the collision theory says you need effective collisions and you need a high frequency collisions, okay? Because the thing is, having one effective collision is not really going to make a chemical reaction successful or a reaction successful, right? So you need these two things. So let's wrap it up. You need a high frequency of collisions. Now, why do we need a high frequency of collisions? The reason why we need a high frequency of collisions is that that's going to give us a better chance, right, of having effective collisions. Because the thing is, we learn as you go along, you move to college, right? When molecules, and particles, and atoms bump into each other, collide with each other, they don't each time and every time have a successful, effective collision. Sometimes the energy is not enough. Sometimes the angular orientation is not enough, right? So if you have one of those factors missing, the right angle or the right amount of energy, the reaction or the collision will not be successful, okay? So you need high frequency collisions that gives you a chance, a better chance of having effective collisions where both factors of the angle and the proper energy, all right, are ideal, okay? So once again, to wrap it up, frequency of collisions, right, will help us get more effective, okay, collisions. All right, so when you have these, this is what the collision theory says, will cause your overall reaction to be successful. All right, so no problem. So once again, we're going to think in the next video and look at some factors, right, that could increase the chance of what? Frequency of collisions, which in turn will give us a better chance at having what? More effective collisions. Now remember, effective collisions, we need the proper angle or orientation, and we need the right amount of energy, okay? So those two factors right here, having the right amount of these guys and the proper angle and the right amount of energy, make up an effective collision. So what we're going to do later, we're going to look at some factors that will increase the frequency of collisions so we have a better chance of this. All right, guys, as always, hard work and sacrifice equals success. This is a very, very brief introduction to collision theory. Very simple, but very, very important. It's common sense, right? Okay, but you got to know it, and you got to know the things that make up an effective collision, and so on. All right, take care.